So we got the moon here. Earth at night. White hats in a room. We're diverse. Special NSA surveillance. Take a look behind walls. Oh, the clown motif. What's the light there to the left side? What's that picture? They got some guns. We were everywhere. Fly you to the moon. Why is it location in New York? Are those ley lines? Okay, a minute doesn't really give you a lot of time to react, but those are just all immediate reactions there for you. Okay, so that was the immediate react. So now we're going to go deeper. This next level of analysis is going to be the attempt for me to create a common, conventional interpretation of the meaning of this video. So beginning, we have the thematic of the moon and the earth with a sunrise. Well, since the sun sets in the west, and it will be a sunset. This thematic fits with the phrase, fly me to the moon. We see the moon there. Taken with the screen transition to the individuals in the security room looking at satellite imagery. You can say conventionally, we're shown an image of military surveillance capability. In transition to this lady's face, you hear, let me play among the stars. In the original Ghost in the Machine video, going to timestamp 235, you see the phrase, we are everywhere, followed by the ghost themology, followed by feeling in the dark, followed by a message in the stars. So contextually, I linked that as a continuation of the previous themology. For them to choose a song that had the phrase, fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Fly Me to the Moon, originally titled Other Words, is a song written in 1954 by Bart Howard. Most of us are familiar with Frank Sinatra's 1964 version, which had been associated with the Apollo missions to the moon. I made the NSA comment here as a joke concerning speculation by some in the Patriot community that government agencies or military branches could have access to technology that is superior to camera and essentially able to determine where cameras or other notable security measures exist in any building structure. Technology that uses some electromagnetic spectra abilities that are just beyond civilian understanding. The words target compound flash briefly, showing that it's a potential target for maybe a low Earth orbit projectile weapon, which is something else that individuals speculate could be a capability of certain agencies, but most likely the military. And we immediately get a screen transition to the clown motif. We have the clown in the mirror and the light. There are likely deeper levels here, but superficially, we would just say that it's a carryover of the motif used in the original Ghost in the Machines video. Though in that video, there's fire in a TV. So after the clown converts to ghost, we get to this scene, which shows a woman using a digital board to draw an illustration. Conventionally, we'll say that this is likely propaganda, and is emphasizing that the modern military has more sophisticated artistic capabilities to produce enticing propagandistic materials. Then we have this collage of screens to further emphasize technological prowess. Then we have this scene with two guys in a gun, grounding the video to the military, followed by the phrase, we are everywhere, which, as I mentioned, also appeared in the original Ghost in the Machine video. Then we're treated to this zoom out of a cityscape, further emphasizing the advanced satellite capabilities. The region appears to be New York. Then we see lines between cities, which you may say are flight paths. With my initial reaction, I may have mentioned ley lines, which is an antiquated concept that the Earth has an energy grid system determined by precise location. But conventionally speaking, a nice flight paths reasoning would suffice. Also, you may look at it as points of communication on different parts of the globe. That pretty much ends the video. You just get the Psywar word art scroll across the screen there, the nice fade. Okay, so this level of analysis will focus on deeper relational associations I've managed to pick up. In association, I previously mentioned the Fly Me to the Moon song received rendition by Frank Sinatra for the Apollo moon landings. There's controversy concerning the true legitimacy of the moon landings, just as there is somehow still existing controversy concerning the very shape of the realm in which we live, the Earth itself. In the midst of this lens flare, we don't see any of the stars, and yet the first lyric is to play among the stars. So here we have some emotive imagery concerning what we do and do not know about who is and who isn't a star, seated within the context of the controversy of what really happened on the way to the moon. Initially made a derpy comment about these being white hats, and conventionally just operators perhaps with the National Reconnaissance Office, or maybe in collaboration with JSOC or NSA, who knows. Symbolically, people link the concept of total information surveillance, the eyes of God given to man, to the concept of a ruling elite that's able to know everything each individual is doing. So in a sense, these could be considered the human representations of the Lords of Karma, the intangible power that many feel somehow makes life more difficult than it should be for people. To shift to this young lady's face, in association, symbolizing the desire for mere mortals to get that influence to be able to hang out with the stars, the ones that possibly don't even exist. In association, the choice of a young lady may be to symbolize a popular demographic for wanting to become an influencer, or perhaps a movie star, just to carry this symbolic imagery. Target confirmed in association, reminding us that no one is safe from this all-consuming power that's able to control all information in awareness through surveillance. Any person, any location can become targeted. The clown in association being tied to the Central Intelligence Agency, and with the motif of the transformation into the ghost, emphasizing how intangible certain operatives can become through donning certain roles in society. New York chosen as the model for the zoom out, fitting with the theme of the Statue of Liberty. Implication that New York City is a power center for the elite who are capable of conferring more directly with the gods who surveil all. Now analyzing the musical associations. Do or die. So you have the voice of this woman. The song is titled The Last Goodbye by Eric Kinney featuring Danica Dora, an attempt to audio match. The audio is somewhat similar. The rendition of Fly Me to the Moon that you hear is a cover by Oscura. If you listen to it, the lyrics don't continue on beyond the 127 mark, then it goes into like a beat. This song was uploaded to YouTube 3 months ago. In association, curiously, SCA created a song called Ghost in the Machine. Listening to it at about the 120 part yields some lyrics that are a social commentary on current controversies thematically. I can't risk copyright by playing it, but I'll just tell you to go to mark 117, where she starts off with the lyric, "Let's talk about AI." Okay, so now we're going to the deepest level. I'm sure there are levels deeper than what I'm going to present to you, but this is what I have for the moment. It relates to my whole experience in learning about psychological operations group, and a somewhat feeble attempt of mine to reconcile the numerous inconsistencies of this wild world that we live in. With the older Ghost in the Machine video, I came up with an unassisted analysis where I related the clown themology to the Wicked Queen from Snow White looking into the mirror and seeing a clown image, fitting with the witch holding the mirror and the clown getting swallowed by it, turning into a ghost, with complex imagery intimating that the psychological operators in contact and possession of incomprehensibly advanced technology have created alterations in our reality, using as evidence the inclusion of the Tank Man symbology, noting also that the Statue of Liberty was shown with an extremely transient glitch effect, subtly connoting the idea of a reality shift, with the Mandela totems being which arm of the Statue of Liberty was held up and was it Liberty Island that the statue is sitting on. These concepts, a very far adrift takeaway from the more superficial conventional understanding of military operators and PSYOPs who are showing their history of excellent operations using the visuals of various war theaters. So in the context of that explanation, the newer video is simply a restatement or visual boast of the prowess and capabilities of military intelligence and their ability to have total control of outcomes in the context of this video from their surveillance capabilities, though timeline manipulation not far.
But that's not good enough.
And very fortuitously, I did achieve some assistance by an individual who claimed to have inside understanding of the true meaning of the Ghost in the Machine PSYOPs video. So this led to the video Ghost in the Machine Psywar Analysis New York Timeline Shift. There are a few pieces of visual information from the new video that I can now correlate with information provided to me by this anonymous individual. The outside source provided these insights. This dial scene where you see a message to the stars in 268 relates in one way because the constellation Virgo in reverse full reduction gematria as 28. You'll see why this is important. But also, there is a location known as 268 Avenue of the Stars. Here's a relation of this location to New York, New York. In this video at timestamp 8:03, I show a road near this location, 268 Avenue of the Stars, being very similar in appearance to the coast for this area of New York where Times Square is circled. I then overlay the constellation of Virgo, and in truth, I didn't really overlay anything. This visual asset was actually provided to me by this third party. He simply explained this to me in plain language. So at timestamp 37 of the new video, you have the zoom out from the same area of Manhattan with Times Square, showing a contextual link to the explanation provided to me. So it was explained to me that this was a special secure area related to timeline strategic operation. From the original Ghost Machine video, there's this imagery of a subway. Apparently this is in Germany. It was indicated to me that a location in Germany relates to the time warfare strategic operation. Military operatives were assigned to work to understand events of the past that we currently can't see in this timeline. I know this stuff is wild, for sure. Given the source of visual emphasis for zooming out in this area of New York, I hypothesize one of two scenarios. In one scenario, the source is unreliable. Individuals who are associated with the 4th POG watched this video that I put out and then decided to produce a video that had stock footage with emphasis on this area of New York as a tease of sorts. That's one possible explanation. The other, and what I feel is the more credible explanation, is that the source who provided me this information concerning New York and the connection to Virgo and in alignment as well as 268 Avenue of the Stars is a completely reliable source and being totally accurate in what he's describing. It's noted at the end of the video, with this animation in Psywar, you do see a constellation of stars, or multiple constellations. So this series of loops connecting different locations could symbolically represent the type of work being done with very specific locations, perhaps also involving certain astrological alignments that allows them to fix problems within the timeline through a ways that's obviously incomprehensibly advanced, especially since no one's at the stage of explaining it in as plain language as I'm attempting to do now. Thus, these videos could represent very early hints of pending later declassification concerning the true nature of our reality, with certain YouTube analysts fed very specific clues to seed out into the public mind at large through video production. This source, over the months, sent me links on numerous scientific topics, usually around quantum mechanics and breakthroughs of understanding on how the cosmos works and how a cosmos integrates with the quantum level of understanding. Oh yeah, and with this area of the apparent gated safe house with security camera zoomed in, I think this is symbolic of specific target areas such as this remote 268 Avenue of the Stars. You can still find this location. It's off market, and we have a house that looks somewhat like this. It's in North Blenheim, New York. The precise location is right here at the center. In context, it's not all that far from Finger Lakes and not that far from Albany. Here are visual assets that were provided to me by this individual. It's constellation Virgo. In this scene of the video, we have a bright light and the ghost on TV, where in the original video, the TV was burning. In this video, it's being doused with rain. It's quite possible that there is no special symbolic significance to this imagery, and that is just for show and to be connected thematically with the previous video that spawned the meme based on a Betty Boop cartoon, also showing off the use of the TV angle. I can interpret this as the powers that be, or perhaps the powers that soon were, are recognizing that there is a ghost of military intelligence operating in the machine of government, producing outputs that were not hoped for. And so they try to douse the TV with water to put out the fire and desperately do anything to stop the ghost from leading to a societal transformation through subtle, hidden control of the means of power previously only in the auspices of the bloodlines. The light symbolizing that there is full awareness and surveillance on the emergency of the hidden saboteurs against the plan of the illuminated ones to destroy various humans and create misery for the rest, using their merchandise and control of technology. Who really has control of the technology? Who has a bigger stick? That concludes this first attempt at a symbolic interpretation. Please let me know how well I did in the comments below. If you have time, also detail alternative theories to what I've explained herein. I feel blessed to be in a position where very helpful information almost literally fell into my lap. It could be that I'm being trolled, but then by who and for what means I do not understand. However, I do not hold much credence in this, and instead hold to a high probability that I'm being told the truth, which means that this world we're living in is just as remarkable as you may begin to surmise the deeper you dive into mysteries such as the Mandela Effect, among others. Anyways, thanks for watching. Peace.